Hello, this is Miss McCauley, and this is part 2 of simplifying expressions. Hopefully you answered the question at the end of part 1 and understood which the coefficient was, and the answer should have been -5. Please go ahead and use the same notes packet for part 2 and complete the rest of your notes. Make sure to do the note check at the end.
We're going to try one more together. 3x plus 2 minus 10 minus 3x. Once again, let's start by listing our terms. We've got 3x, 2, -10, and -3x. Okay, a total of 4 terms. Now let's take a look at our like terms. I'm going to start with my x's. I see 3x and I see -3x, so I can list those as like terms. Are there any more? Yes, there are. Hopefully you can see that 2 and -10 are also like terms. So let's list those below. 2 and -10. Okay? Next is our coefficients. Remember, coefficients are numbers attached to the variable. So in this case, our coefficients are 3 for 3x and -3 for -3x. Okay? Our constants, remember, are any numbers that do not have variables attached. So these numbers would be 2 and -10. Now that we've identified the parts of an expression, it's time to start really talking about how to simplify these expressions to make them easier for us to solve. We're first going to learn to simplify expressions with algebra blocks, and then we'll move on to simplifying without the algebra blocks, since you can't really walk around the rest of your life with a bag of algebra blocks, but it's definitely a good start to help you understand the process. Okay? The first step when you're simplifying with algebra blocks is to model the expression with algebra blocks. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be doing after we model the expression with algebra blocks is combining like blocks, or in other words, like terms. And then our third and final step is to write the simplified expression. Okay, so those are our steps with simplifying with algebra blocks. Alright, so our first expression we're going to model is 4x plus x. You will need a bag of algebra blocks and an algebra blocks mat with a plus sign and negative sign on it. So if you don't have those, please pause the video and get them from your teacher. So remember, our first step is to model our expression, 4x plus x, with the algebra blocks. Okay, so you should make sure you have this mat. Okay, and I apologize, it's a little dark. Make sure you have this mat in front of you. Before we start, let's just really quickly review the different kinds of blocks we have. So remember, we first learned about this green block. Remember, that represents 1. So whenever we're representing regular numbers, we're going to use that green block. Okay? Remember that this this yellow stick actually represents x. Okay? And then the orange stick represents y. So those are our two variables. If we needed to represent 2x, we will put down 2 yellow blocks. Okay, if we needed to represent 3x, we will put down 3 yellow blocks. And then remember also that our yellow square represents x squared, or x to the second power, and our orange square represents y squared, or y to the second power. Okay? So those are the basics of the algebra blocks. Now let's see what we need to model our first expression. Let's flip this back over. Okay, pull this down one bit. Okay, and you'll also see on your algebra blocks basic math that you have a positive side and a negative side. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're also noting the sign of the variable you're representing. If it has a subtraction sign in front of it or a negative sign, you want to make sure you're putting it on the negative side, or if it's a positive or with addition, you need to put it on the positive side. Okay, so let's just quickly go back. Remember, our expression is 4x plus x. So I'm going to start by modeling positive 4x. I'm going to model positive 4x by putting, that's right, 4x blocks on the positive side of the mat. Okay, that represents my 4x. Next, I'm going to take one more x to represent that 4x plus x, one single x. Remember, one x by itself means 1x. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this. So you should be doing this on your own mat and take your own picture. And we're going to drop that into GoodNotes. Okay. Here we go. So we've got our beginning expression now. This is what it looks like, 4x plus x, before we simplify it. Now our next step is to combine like terms and take another picture. So that means I'm going to combine any blocks that are the same. This one's pretty easy. I can see that all my blocks are the same, so I'm simply going to combine my x with my other 4 x's. Here's my expression now simplified. Once again, take a picture. And we're going to drop it into GoodNotes. Sorry about that. Resize. And there's our picture. Okay, now our third step here is to write the simplified expression with numbers. So I'm going to take a look here and see that I only have positive values represented, and what I'm showing on that block is 5x. So I can say that 4x plus x, my original expression simplified, is 5x. Okay? So in other words, you're combining any like blocks or like terms that you see. Let's try another one. Okay? This one's a little bit harder, but we can do it. We've got 2x plus x minus 3 plus 4. Okay, remember step 1, model with the algebra blocks. So let's pull up our mat. So let's just refresh our first steps. We've got 2x, and that is positive, so I'm going to put 2x over on the positive side of my mat. Then I had a plus 1 single x, so again, I'm going to put 1 single x over on my positive side. Then I've got minus 3 plus 4. So to show minus 3, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 green blocks on the negative side of the mat, and then I'm adding positive 4. So I'm going to put 4 green blocks on the positive side of the mat. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my mat and I'm going to combine my like terms. So again, I'm looking for any blocks I can combine that are the same. Can I combine a yellow and a green? Nope, those are not the same block. So see that? Don't combine the x's with the regular numbers. They're not the same block. Woo, not the same block. Don't combine those together. But I do see some green blocks on the negative side and on the positive side that we could combine. Now remember, one negative and one positive is going to get you back to 0. That's right, big fat 0. So let's start making our 0 pairs. Negative 1 plus positive 1 is going to be 0, so I'm going to take those off my mat. Another 0 pair. Negative 1 plus positive 1. Swipe those off. Negative 1 plus positive 1. Swipe those off. Okay, well I've combined all the green blocks that I can, and I'm left with one positive green block. Now let's look at my x's. I've got 1, 2, 3 total x's here, and I can go ahead and combine those together because they're all the same kind of block. Let's think, is there anything else I could simplify? No. Remember, you cannot combine an x with a green block. They're not the same block, okay? So let's take a picture of our simplified expression. Okay, so here's our picture of our simplified expression. And remember, our last step is to now write the simplified expression with numbers. Okay, so I can see from my picture that I have a total of 3x showing, and they're all positive, plus positive 1. Okay, so if we go back to our original expression, remember we had 2x plus x minus 3 plus 4. Remember, 2x plus x were like terms, so those became 3x. We also said that negative 3 and positive 4 were like terms. When we added negative 3 plus positive 4 together, we were left with positive 1. So that's how we have a simplified expression of 3x plus 1. This is the expression in simplest form. You cannot make it any simpler.
Please use your algebra blocks to try to simplify the following expression. X plus 4x minus 6x minus 2. Choose the correct answer and either show your teacher or answer it in the note check. This is the end of part 2.